So you're first.
Yep.
You ready?
Yeah. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'll go back there and
Trying to figure out how to download
change
the
things up.
sheet. PDF.
Do you need 30 seconds?
Download now. I do not.
Okay. Want me to make an announcement, try and settle people down, or you just want to play?
I'm just gonna play. I'm gonna start hitting really hard.
Just gonna bang it out?
Just gonna bang it out.
QuianaDenae? I thought you were doing something about
No,
Tom Waits
no,
song.
that's for something else.
That's for later. You're doing a Tom Waits song.
That's for the wedding.
All right, you good?
I'm good.
Jesus is gonna be here.
I'll wait till you sit down and I'll wait for your thumbs up.
Don't mistake anybody else's way.
Good morning. To those of you here and to those of you viewing us online, hi. My name is Sandra Murphy and I will be your worship associate this morning. I welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Flint, a progressive LGBTQINA+ affirming religious community. We also acknowledge that we stand on the traditional lands of the Council of Three Fires and the Anishinaabe people. Our congregation supports Indigenous-led organizations, and we encourage others to do so as well. If you would like more information about our faith tradition or this congregation, please feel free to talk with myself, an usher, or anyone during coffee hour today. You can check out our website, uuflint.org. You may also sign up for our weekly email newsletter by visiting our website, scanning the QR code on the order of service, or by completing this card, which is in the seat back here in the sanctuary, and you can leave it by the collection baskets at the table in the back. This morning, we are welcoming QuianaDenae Perkins as our speaker. QuianaDenae has been connected to Unitarian Universalism for 20 years. She was recently welcomed into preliminary UU Ministerial Fellowship and will be ordained in October 2026. Congratulations. She currently serves as the UUA MidAmerica Field Staff, and it was in that capacity that she provided guidance to our search committee and our board of directors. She also consulted with us on the establishment of our transition team. QuianaDenae lives in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where she co-parents 2 teens and loves backyard birding. This is her 2nd year as a disciplined runner, and we're going to hear more about that a little bit later. So, announcements. And we have the Flint Regional Herbal Collaborative, which is going to be today, 12:15 in Blackington. It was canceled. Worship associates are the last to know, right? Sorry. This seems to be the weekend for postponements of some sort. All right. Book club, though, will be happening on July 26th. Braiding Sweetgrass, I'm hoping that there'll be a good turnout for that. There's a few more announcements that, of course, came in last minute. Flint Pride Fest is rescheduled for Saturday, September 19th. See Terry Cross or Chris Monk for more information, or if you'd like to help out on that Saturday with our booth, our table. The second Sunday collection this month is for Michigan Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Network, or MooseGen. MooseGen is a statewide coalition of UU congregations that advocate for progressive change. And lastly, save the date. On September 29th, we will host the League of Women Voters Get Out the Vote postcard party. Party is the operative word here. More details will be forthcoming, but if you're interested in helping with this party, please see me. And don't forget to submit your absentee ballot or vote in person on August 4th. Democracy is not a passive pastime. And so now we will have our chalice lighting.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are called, we practice being called. A call to worship is secretly a call to focus our attention. Choosing to focus our attention is countercultural. Daily, we are called to worship at the altar of many devices, surveillance systems we let take the lead over our entire waking moment. We are called by headlines set purely on our activation and by tools that gamify our every human connection. We are not called, we are led, and we are not led, we are entrapped. Instead, here, we are practice being called. We are called to bring our attention to the altar of the unpredictable human relatedness. We are called by our ancestors, this wood, this room's particular light, this chalice's particular fire, and the children here in our hearts and in spirit. We are called to focus our attention on the foolhardy and our open heart commitment to share the future together that we cannot control. In the words of the poet and farmer Wendell Berry, we are called here to do something today that does not compute. Spirit of life, call our collective attention to this precise moment, the threshold between then and now, the moment upon which we hang our honest promises like a portrait, chiseled and framed by our own hands, imperfectly and together. Come, let us worship together.
And if you will join me in mindfully reading our covenant, recognizing the richness of diversity, the beauty and wonder of shared worship, and the transforming power of love and service, We gather as a sacred, intentional community to freely seek knowledge and truth, to celebrate the fullness of life, and by our actions to increase goodness and justice.
We are a rowdy bunch today. I hope you sing as fully and full-throatedly as you guys were before the service started. There was a lot of music coming out of your mouths then. Let's all stand. We're going to sing 349, We Gather Together. Thank you so much. Please be seated.
I invite you to join now in a spirit of meditation. Following our time of silence, you can certainly come forward and light a candle of joy or concern. You can also do that at the back table. And if you like, you can put your joy or concern in the journal and we'll post it in our next week's e-newsletter. Now these words for our meditation. Many of us carry a burden of worry, anxiety over the state of the world, worries about money, about our environment, our families, about peace and justice. May we trust that nothing will get worse for us putting that burden down for a moment. May we let go of what weighs us down. May we find that we can set down worry for longer and longer periods of time. In our experience of letting go, may we be open to the possibility that we need not pick our worries back up. May we find passion and strength to work for change where we have the power to do so, and to let go where we do not. If not forever, let us put down any worries or anxiety for our time of quiet. May we be in quiet together. Amen and blessed be.
What a beautiful thing, though. My name is Ann Arbor. I'm a golf coach art, and I decided to do this way, point myself in the right direction. As a leader, one of the things that our top to us today is to have our training show up our message of the day show. One of them is the songs that still choose with our music columns. It is in the opening and closing words. It is in the sermon, but it's also in the time for all ages. And although there is not folks who were born in the last maybe 10 years in the room, I do believe in children at heart. And I do believe that the message should still be, if I can't present the message through a book, then I shouldn't be presenting one in a sermon. It's still my belief. So we are still doing it in time for all ages, because if you can't get it through here, then I still have some learning to do. This is, and I have consolidated the book where appropriate. So, Her Fearless Run. This is the story of Catherine Switzer and her historic Boston Marathon. If you don't know Catherine, we're going to get a chance to meet her today. Pat, pat, pat. The summer sun beat down on 12-year-old Catherine. She held out a piece of chalk and marked a tree as she ran past it again. 2 laps to go. Catherine dripped with sweat. Her legs felt like noodles, but she kept running. 1 lap to go, just a few more feet. 1 mile. Catherine held her head high and tried to catch her breath, but the mailman started. The milkman asked if she was okay, because in 1959, it was strange to see a girl running. Girls weren't supposed to sweat. Girls weren't supposed to compete. They were too weak, too fragile for the sport. That's what most people thought, but not Catherine. We learn a lot of things, turning books. I'm not fresh at that. She thought running was magical. Pat, pat, pat. At 17, Catherine traded her backyard laps for the Lynchburg College track where she was a student. 3 miles. One rainy afternoon, Catherine noticed the men's running coach waiting for her along the track. "Can you run a mile?" he asked. "I can run 3, said Catherine. Although there was no women's running team at Lynchburg, Lynchburg was one of the few schools that allowed women to run with the men's track team. The team needed more runners, and Catherine was eager to join. Pat, pat, pat. 4 more laps around, 3 to go, 2 more, 1 more, and she finished her first competitive mile. One day, Catherine interviewed 2 of her teammates for the sports section of the school newspaper. They had just run the Boston Marathon, a race that was more than 26 miles long. Catherine's eyes shined. She had never heard of anyone running that far. Pat, pat, pat. Catherine ran through the bitter cold of January, February, and March. 12 miles, 14 miles. Snowbanks piled high, sidewalks disappeared. It was hard to run on road safely. Her legs ached and blisters covered her feet. 16 miles, 18 miles. She cut triangle wedges out of her sneakers just so that she could run on swollen toes. And on her last training run, Catherine ran and ran 31 miles. That was almost 5 miles further than the marathon, and Catherine was ready. Catherine had a problem. For 70 years, only men had been allowed to wear an official race number while running the Boston Marathon. Would she be accepted as a woman? Would she be able to run without signing up? Catherine checked the rule book. The section titled "The Marathon" said nothing about the distance only being for men. The entry form said nothing about it either. After all, women weren't supposed to sweat. Women weren't supposed to compete. They were too weak. They were too fragile to run that far. That's what people still thought, but not Catherine. On April 19, 1967, the day before the Boston Marathon, a record 741 runners registered for the race, including Catherine K.B. Switzer, the only woman with an official number. "Come on, runners, let's move in." Snow came on the race and the race officials' hats as they tried to corral the runners. Catherine and Arnie jogged around to keep warm before the race started. The runners moved closer, the crowds fell silent, the gun went off, bang, and Catherine ran. Pat, pat, pat. For a few moments, Catherine wondered if she should quit. She still had 24 miles to go, and suddenly finishing wasn't just about her. If she quit now, no one would believe that a woman could run a marathon. People would still say women weren't supposed to sweat. Women weren't supposed to compete. They were too weak or too fragile, and they should not be allowed to run. "No matter what, I have to finish this race," she told Arnie, who was her best friend who had been her running coach at Lynchburg. I skipped a couple pages. So Catherine ran on. Pat, 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 pat. 12 miles, 14 miles, 16 miles, 18 miles. Catherine watched the women standing on the sidelines of the course. Some cheered, but many didn't. If only they knew how magical running was. If they only knew they didn't have to be afraid to try. They could just be like Catherine. They just didn't know. Catherine rounded the corner less than 2 blocks, just a few more feet. 26.2 miles. Catherine held her head high and tried to catch her breath. Reporters surrounded her. "What made you do this?" they asked. "Why Boston? Why wear a number?" And Catherine's answer was simple. "I like to run, and women deserve to run too." Her fearless run. There's a run group called 261. The next year, several other women got to run the Boston Marathon, and now it is standard that women and trans people and folks of all gender get to run in the Boston Marathon.
You got to learn how to fall before you learn to fly. Mama, mama, ain't no lie. Before you learn to fly, learn how to fall. You got to drift in the breeze before you set your sails. It's an occupation where the wind prevails before you set your sails. Drift in the breeze. 'Cause Lord, it's the same old story ever since the world began. Everybody's got the runs for glory. Nobody stop and scrutinize the plan. Nobody stop and scrutinize the plan. Nobody stop and scrutinize the plan. You got to learn how to fall before you learn to fly. The tank town's gonna tell you no lies before you learn to fly. Learn how to fall before you learn to fly. Learn how to fall.
Good music. Friends, before I begin this sermon, I need to call my comrades, elders, and ancestors into this space, making it holy, making it a temporary home. Running on faith. I'm a runner. I know with my short legs and body mass and long locks are up today and melanated skin, I don't seem like a runner. That's okay, trust me, I'm a runner. I am a Unitarian Universalist. I know with my 2 master's degree, 20 years in UU spaces, months, I wrote this 76 days out from ordination. Okay, bring it in. Alongside with my body mass, long locks, and melanated skin, I don't seem like a UU, but trust me, I'm a Unitarian Universalist. Interestingly, I have the same conversations in these 2 communities very often. The one where I say who I am and someone questions if I belong. Listen, I've decided that it's not my work to convince you that I belong. My work is knowing who I am and then living in my truths, being my whole unapologetic self so much that you conclude, yep, she's a runner. Yep, she's a UU. See, this is not my first adventure into running. The first time was back in 2006, right? I'm saying numbers weird because I'm starting to feel weird about time. That's my own stuff. Back in 2006, when I was much younger and lived in Minneapolis, I joined a mentor program called Boulder Options, which is still around today. And that program used biking and running as hooks to address youth truancy and academic struggles. So for 1 year, I was partnered with a young girl named Octavia, and we walked and ran and biked all around the cities, and we worked through her school attendance issues while also building her confidence and addressing her self-esteem. And I could admit that our time together also changed me. After our mentorship ended, I continued to run and even started biking to work a couple of times a week. But as it happened, life happened and other things took priority. But this new journey in running began with walking, simply getting time on my feet. And even then, I wasn't sure that it was going to escalate to running because I wasn't sure that I even belonged. Where was there a place for me in the running community? To my surprise, social media had the answer. With a quick search, I learned that the landscape of fitness, and sometimes we learn, track and follow with me, that the landscape of spirituality has also changed. I swooned when I saw Latanya, a big Black woman with locks just like mine. She had dozens of racing medals and several more for weightlifting. Her representation alongside with some other women, Tatiana, Evelena, Sierra, they showed me that I could participate in fitness and running community, bringing my whole self, whole and hence holy. So I started this running pilgrimage in a very different physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual space than I was in the past. I came into this season of running with a desire to be in an intentional conversation with my body and spirit. I started running as a way to reclaim space for myself in a world that has relentless demands of and on me. This time, running was about achieving individual goals within the context of an affirming community. So, with my role models named and my determination anchored, I arrived at my first big learning: gear. We're talking shoes, clothing, hydration, and fueling. The curve was steep, but with help from the running community, I got myself together. After doing some runs on my own, I even decided to run with a running group. I sat in the back row, and the choir sang a song that hit my tender heart. And although I had joined into the song, I didn't want anyone to notice me. Wait. Are we talking about running or joining a faith community? I got confused. When I joined running groups, I was both grateful for community and consumed with fear that I was being left behind. In either place, in church or running group, I was glad I didn't let fear be my stumbling block. I was glad that I sat in the uncomfortable liminal, because after all of my fear fell away, I was left with an overflowing spiritual cup. And after the discomfort dissipated, I found my pace and a loving running community. As you may have noticed, at some point, finding faith and finding running community merged into one journey. I was running on faith, and faith took the form of running. Now, before we get too deep into these parallels, I need to make another important similarity. Both races and sermons have time limits. Sermons have about 12 minutes, and races, depending on the distance, have those too. So to honor that truth, I'm going to sprint us through 3 really big examples to get us at the finish line. Are we ready? Okay, lace up. This first one: if you remain in the back row, you will have one experience. However, changing where you sit changes what you see and what you hear. Changing how you engage, whether you're being a passive attendee or a board member, also perspective shifting. And I want to be clear, all are valid ways of engaging. And I would add, depending on what your life is demanding on you, back row is all you can handle, and it's all you should do. There has been times in my life where I have literally slanked into the back row and slanked out before the last song was over, and that was it. And that was perfect. And now I'm in the front of the chancel, right? So you be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. All are valid ways of engaging. But in either situation, running or participating in faith community, how you engage will impact your participation and experience. 2, gear. Remember when I talked about shoes, clothing, hydration, and fueling? Well, every faith journey needs equipment. In Unitarian Universalism, our tools include shared values, theology, congregational polity, and I would add there is wisdom in using our tools well. Yes, you can put on a pair of trainers and run 26.2 miles untrained and unsupported. But I wonder, would you have a better experience if you committed to exploring what it means to be Unitarian Universalist, became a member, took on volunteer roles, contributed your stewardship with your time and your treasure, then took on the marathon of liberation within and held by community? I've seen both races, both get medals, but one never runs again and the other becomes a legacy member in their community. Here is our final sprint lap. This one addresses fatigue. I learned this one last week. In longer races, runners experience bonking, which is a state of extreme fatigue and sudden energy depletion. The same thing happened to me when writing this sermon. I hit a wall. I was depleted of fancy words and frankly was running out of running metaphors. We all get tired. These aren't moments of weaknesses. They are chances to be in conversation with our God self. After the crowds are gone, after the choir is done singing, when it is just you and your small, still voice, can you hear her say, "Don't stop now. We have miles and miles to go." Stacy, a fellow minister, was that voice for me. She mentioned a recent theme that she had been threading throughout the year, and just like that, I broke through the wall and I created a new route to our finish line. Now that our sprint sessions are complete, let us cover the last mile and get our finisher medal. So, my friend Stacy shared that one of her messages throughout this year has been this: finding a home in faith. Finding a home in faith. Those simple words hit my marrow and spoke to my scars and not my wounds. I was met with a deep knowing that this journey, the one that started when I said yes to the call to ministry, bless you, friend, and keep going if you need to. I've been known to do 10 in a row. It's a party trick. That this journey, the one that started when I said yes to the call to ministry, the one that started when I said yes to running as a faith practice, was a pilgrimage to find, reclaim, and occupy home. Home in my body, reconnecting to the tender places, reclaiming the rhythmic dance that is heart, breath, breathe. Remember, I came into this season of running with the desire to be in an intentional conversation with my body and spirit. The process of Unitarian Universalist Ministerial Fellowship has required I be a part of an interconnected web, that I engage in practices that affirm that I am whole and holy. Remember, I participate in faith community as a way to claim space for myself in a world that has relentless demands of and on me. I am at home in my body. I am at home in this faith. This is my faith home. I cannot separate these, as they are merged at all the places I know to be good and goddess. Home not as a dwelling, but as a place of respite, solidified in water ceremonies every fall. Home as a way to announce a return, breath and body moving in synchronization. Home not as a church, but as a place of renewal, offered in May flower rituals. Home as a way to reclaim, as a way to claim a relationship, heard in thunderous applause while crossing a finish line. For me, this pronouncement shifted both running and faith from a thing I do when it's convenient or on Sunday, but into a personal theology of transformation lived in congregational interdependence. Remember, running and faith allow for individual achievement within the context of affirming community. One chalice, flame, 1 mile at a time. So here, on the race course of life, we are spiritual siblings, living in the same Unitarian Universalist, pluralist cul-de-sac, if you will. And although we have not met formally, there is no question of belonging. We already know each other. We already know each other by our unapologetic truths that we live, making us whole and holy. We already know each other by the covenants that we keep, the community we hold accountable, and our collective orientation to justice. I am so glad to be in this community with you, because we have so many miles to go as we run on this faith. Ashe and amen.
You know, in the spirit of the Crim, I want to run now, but it's too late for me. It's too late for me. Yeah. In our world, many voices are silenced. Many truths remain unspoken because the speaker fears rejection, judgment, or worse. Our financial offerings today help sustain this congregation as a place where all voices can be heard, where truth can be spoken without fear, where vulnerability is met with compassion. We give in gratitude for this beloved community and with hope for a world where more voices can speak their truth. You can make your gift as you leave this morning, or you can do it online at uuflint.org. All gifts are graciously accepted. Thank you. More closing words? No closing yours, my dear.
I got the words out. I just thought there was more steps. Oh, friends, this has been such a beautiful morning. I offer these words, and I should tell you who the words were from this morning. They're in the, you asked me later, but it's being recorded. Let me tell you who the words were from this morning for copyright and all of that good stuff, y'all. The words this morning came, we practice being called, came from Samantha Wilson. So we want to make sure we give them credit. And the closing words we're using today are slowing down from Reverend Manish Mersma Marzetti, who's out in Ann Arbor. Slowing down. In the midst of running from my problems, from myself, from one's necessary task to the next, I listen to the impulse within me, the one that reminds me that I could keep running blindly my whole life, days and months, spending into years, losing all perspective. I'm reminded that learning how to rest and abide is part of how I learn to rest and abide with me. I need you, source of creation, as deeply as I need myself, as deeply as I long for comfort, reassurance, guidance, and trust. Your presence feels so distant, too distant sometimes, while I'm living this life as if it is a marathon, waiting to be won. Help me instead recall that slowing down can be just as important, perhaps at times even more important than speeding to get things done. Let us make time this week to slow down, to be present to ourselves, be present to our community, and be present to others. Help me remember that the longing of the hearts are never satisfied by the sprint, but by rather slow, languid meandering. Help me remember that my weary spirit may be weary because of all the running. I choose to slow down. Help me make choices that walk with me as I make the choice to be present with myself and my community over the coming week. Ashe and Amen.
And we will extinguish our flame, and I'll ask QuianaDenae to do that for us. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
What a treat. I don't always get fire in the summer. I'm going to come down and watch you prom. Why mess up the section? Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for your message. I can't talk anymore. I'll cry some more. Not good when you're trying to sing. You guys, I think, have heard this song enough to know a lot of the words. Please join in and sing with us, all right? We're singing, I'll tell you, We Shall Be Known, and it's a song by Mamuse. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the world. It is time be done.